Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Anna Edu Show, the show that always aims to inspire you, educate you, and bring you to the best possible life you can live. Hope everybody's doing okay. I'm excited because by God's grace, we have gone through some of the darkest times in our life these past year and a half, almost 2 years. But by God's grace, some of us made it here. For those families who suffered a bit because they lost loved ones, may God continue to comfort you, and may God continue to put his arms around you and let you know that he still got your back. Today's show is a subject that we have all heard about. Some of us are dealing with it. Some of us are sort of trying to understand it. And so we have somebody here who will help us understand it better. But as usual, before we go forward, I'm feeling victorious. So I went to look for a poem that will inspire you and I. So relax and hear this poem. It says, My Victory Song by Abimbola Alabi. God's love sets me free. This is my victory song. His grace is sufficient for me. It is what keeps me strong. For I'm no perfect man, and on my own, I cannot prevail. Sometimes doing the best I can, even will seem to no avail. I've had my share of heartaches, sometimes wondering to what end. Made my share of mistakes. Over this, I cannot pretend. But it's no cause for alarm. God's thoughts to me are of peace, to nurture and not to harm. I forge on quite resolved. God is at work in me for the best. I am flawed but fiercely loved, and he is not finished with me yet. God's perfect plan for me, I may not fully understand, but trusting, obeying, I am grateful to be handled in his loving hand. I thought this is a beautiful poem that speaks to the joy in my heart. And I pray that it is the same for all of you watching, that you can see that through it all, God has carried you. Now, let's bring on Miss Juliette, our guest for today. I admire this woman. I respect the work that she does. She is very fearless. She is very powerful. She's serious about educating society. She's the founder of Living a Balanced Life. She's an RN. She's a woman. She's a fashionista. She's a mother. She does it all. She's every woman. Welcome, Juliette.
Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Thank you.
I've been watching you, you know.
Thank you.
You don't play. I don't play. I'm like, that's my kind of girl, you know.
Yeah.
You take life and live it fiercely.
We have to.
You have to.
Because with this COVID, we realize we don't have much time. So when you're here, you do the best you can, enjoy with your loved ones, and make good impact.
You make good impact. And I admire you for that. You know, I tell you, the journey that I'm on is a different one, as you can tell. And, you know, sometimes not everybody supports you or understand where you're going.
That's right.
But sometimes you look in community and you smile and say, that's my kind of person. Yeah. And, you know, you sort of quietly ride on the person's energy and fierce. So I want you to know that you're on point. Keep going.
Thank you.
Kicking
Thank you.
ass. I can say that. It's my show.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate the love and the support.
Amen.
So, sometimes we don't get it everywhere we go, but I appreciate this very much. And it's my
Yes.
passion to, educate the community and do the best I can.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So welcome to the Anna Edu Show. We're
Thank
all
you.
about inspiration and education and having fun and all that.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about yourself, because when I read your bio, I'm like, okay, I don't know where to start from. So I'll let her tell us what she wants us to hear.
Yeah. So just to sum it up, because we don't have that much time today. Like you said, I'm an RN. I'm a certified diabetic and bariatric educator. I started my own company, Living a Balanced Life Inc., where my passion, of course, is to educate the community and empower people to live a healthy life,
Mhm.
manage disease, and prevent complications. I'm a mother of 4 children. I'm
Woo.
married. So, and I work full time. I'm a tutor. I just do it all. I volunteer with Ghana Union, Ghana Can TV. I work with Sankofa Radio. So anywhere I'm invited, I go in to just try to connect people, educate people, and give the resources that's available so everyone can benefit and improve their health. So that's
So
in
when we sum it all up, you're every woman.
well, thank you. I'll take that.
And don't you have a fashion line too?
Well, my daughter, actually, my eldest daughter, had started her own cosmetic company, which I'm supporting her with. So it's
Nice.
very busy, but I'm doing my best to support her because it's her passion to go into. She wants to go into health, but that aspect of health. So I'm giving all her tips that she needs to continue, and she wants to. She said I inspire her, so I take that as a compliment,
Beautiful.
and I'm working with her beauty line, Lexi A Cosmetics. So
That's it.
yeah,
That's what we can do for our babies,
yes, yes,
especially when we see that they have the passion. Then
that's
you
right,
know that you're leaving something,
that's right,
for the next generation. So
that's
keep
right.
up the good work.
Thank you.
And so now we're going to go straight to why we're here today.
Yes, yes.
We're here to talk about diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
learn about diabetes,
Yeah,
learn how to manage it, learn how to deal with it.
that's right.
So first of all, please tell us,
Mhm.
explain to us what diabetes is.
Okay, that's the $1 million question. So diabetes, in a nutshell, diabetes is it could be an autoimmune disease depending on the types that we're talking about. So in a nutshell, explaining diabetes is a condition where your body or the organ in your body, the pancreas, does not produce enough insulin, which is the hormone that you need in order to utilize or use the sugar that you get from energy, use it as energy from food. So either you don't make enough of that insulin, or your body, the one that your body make doesn't work properly.
Okay.
If it's type 1 diabetes, then it's autoimmune disease, meaning that it's like your body antibodies attacks the cells that make the insulin. So now
Mhm.
they're no longer producing any insulin at all. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
the type 1. That's the difference between type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease where it's like your body is attacking itself, the cells that make the insulin. So you're not able to produce insulin. And if you can't produce insulin, you can't use the energy from food that we eat, right? To
Okay.
use it as energy.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so you've already gone into the second, but you used a word here
Yeah,
that, I'd like you to break down a bit for
sure,
those of us who don't understand. See, on this show, I like to make things as simple as possible. I like
that's
to break things
sure,
down as
sure,
simple as possible.
sure.
So when you say autoimmune,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
So there's a lot of diseases that are autoimmune, and autoimmune means that, so normally when we have bacteria or viruses enter our body, right? Our
Mhm,
immune
mhm.
system is ready to fight those infections, or fight those to give us the antibodies to deal with that infection, to be able to fight it off so we live. But when something is autoimmune, it's not technical. Your body is not there's no virus or bacteria that's in your body. So your body is seeing its own cells as the viruses and bacteria. So it's attacking the cells that are supposed to be the good cells that make the hormones and all the things that you may need. It's attacking it, so it's not able to function the way it's supposed to function.
That's
So
not good.
so your body, exactly. So autoimmune, it means that your body is attacking itself in a nutshell.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Now, So now that you've explained this, right, and what is happening in our body,
Yeah.
what are some of the symptoms?
Yeah.
So, for example, when this is happening in our bodies, let's say my body is going through this, I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on in my body. I'm just living my life,
That's
you
right.
know,
That's
trying
right.
to be me, trying to live life.
Yeah.
So, what will tell me
That's
that,
something. Yeah.
lady, I'm not working with you properly?
Yeah.
What will be some of the symptoms?
Yeah, like you mentioned that you want your audience to understand um, everything. So I'm going to go back a little bit and explain. So, for example, um, and when I explain this, it will make sense when we talk about management and prevention and complication. So, when somebody is said to have, let's say, type 1 or type 2 diabetes, right? Like I said, the insulin is not working properly, and insulin is a hormone that your body needs in order to take the energy from the foods that we eat in order to move it into our cells so we can use it as energy, right?
Mhm,
So when
mhm.
we eat things that have natural sugar in them, so things like milk products, all grains and starches, all fruits have natural sugar in them. So that's how
Mhm.
God made it. It has natural sugar. Another word for it is carbohydrate. So it has carbohydrate in them, right? So
Right.
when it goes into our stomach, our body breaks it down into glucose, which is sugar, right? Glucose is
Yes.
sugar. So
Yes.
after we eat, what's supposed to happen is that, the sugar level or the glucose level goes up because that's the food that we put in our body. When
Mm-hmm.
that happens, what is supposed to happen is that your pancreas, which is an organ in your body that help regulate your blood sugar, when it senses that the sugar is high, it releases the insulin into your bloodstream. And the
Okay.
insulin's job is to take the sugar that's sitting in your blood to feed it into your cells so you can use it as energy. So insulin is essentially the transporter or the
Okay.
key to the cells of to the doors of your cells so the
Okay.
sugars can enter for you to use it. So
Mm.
when somebody has type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes, so type 1 diabetes, it means your body is not making any insulin at all. So in order
Mm-hmm.
to use the energy from the food, you have to inject insulin. So you have to put the insulin in your body because your body's not
Okay.
making it at all.
Okay.
Type 2 diabetes, you start off by making some insulin, right? And usually before we used to call it adult onset. So you start off by making some insulin, but could be because of lifestyle management. It could be because of, genetics background, whatever it is that's causing the issue. It come a point where your body doesn't make enough of that insulin. So you're making some, but not enough to deal with the sugar load. Or sometimes the insulin that your body makes doesn't work properly. So as you can
Mm.
see, when you eat, the sugar sits in the blood, and a lot of
Mm.
it sits in the blood. It's not going anywhere, right? You're
Mm.
not able to use the energy, which is the sugar. So the sugar is high, and this is what can lead to what your next question, which is the symptoms. So then, how does our body tells us that something is wrong? So
Right.
with diabetes, some people can have it for years, and
Mm-hmm.
especially the type 2 diabetes, right? Somebody can have it, they will have no symptoms, there will be no sign that something is going on unless until it gets to like pretty much the end.
Pause there for a moment.
Mhm.
So you're saying that with the type 2 diabetes,
Yeah,
you're producing some.
some insulin. Yes,
Type 1 diabetes, you're producing none at all.
that's right.
So I know both of them are bad,
Yeah.
but is type 2 diabetes slightly better because you're producing some compared to type 1 when you're not producing any?
Okay. So essentially, the complications and the of diabetes is the same. So whether
Okay.
it's type 1 or type 2, so one is not better than the other because they're both diseases, right?
Okay.
But the difference is that when somebody, usually type 1 happens usually in the younger population, right?
Okay.
And then type 2, usually as adult, as we're aging from age 40 and up, that's when insulin resistance starts to happen, and then complications can start that way. But the
Mm-hmm.
difference is at the end, the difference between type 1 and type 2 in terms of management is that with type 2, because your body makes some insulin, you're
Mm-hmm.
able to use some oral medications that can help work on different parts of your body to help manage your system, right?
Okay.
But with
Okay.
type 1, the only way you can manage it is with insulin because essentially that's what's
Oh,
missing. Your body's not making it. So there's nothing you can
okay.
do with your body to make it because it's a hormone, right?
Ah,
That's right. So with type
okay.
2, because your body makes some, there are medications that you can take that can work on the gut. It can work on the muscle. It can work on the liver. It can work on the pancreas itself to help produce more insulin to deal with the sugar load. But the people that have type 2 diabetes that eventually right?
Mm-hmm.
Depends on what's happening. They will end up taking insulin. It doesn't mean that their diabetes is worse. It just means that that's what's missing. So that's what you need to put in your body in order to be able to function.
So it sounds like diabetes is very common, right? It sounds like
Yes.
it's very common.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is it hereditary or do we pick it up as we go along?
Yeah.
Because it sounds too common to me. It sounds like everywhere I go, and then it sounds like everywhere I go is like diabetes, diabetes, diabetes. I'm like, wait. So is it something we're born with, or do we pick it up as we go along?
Yeah. So and that depends. So we're not like somebody could be born like because juvenile diabetes, which is type 1 diabetes, can happen from age like from a baby to up to before up to 18 years or 20 years old, right? So
Mhm.
someone could be born and they could have the symptoms of diabetes and they'll need to manage right away, right? So genetics plays a role. So for example, if you have a family member that has diabetes, so for example your dad, your mom, your siblings that have diabetes, it increases your risk of getting
Right,
diabetes. So it
right,
doesn't mean that because my sister has diabetes, I'm gonna get diabetes, but it increases your risk because it shows that it's in your in your genetic pool, right? So it
right.
increases your risk. Being people depending on where you're from, people of African descent, Asian descent, people of the natives, American and Canadians, um, all have higher chance of getting diabetes based on our genetic makeup, right?
Okay.
So these are things that we cannot change. I can't change to become something else. I can't choose my parents. So those
Mhm.
kind of things you cannot control. But there
Right.
are things that you can control that also contribute to diabetes, which is the lifestyle manage, lifestyle, like so what you're eating, lifestyle in terms of exercise, lifestyle in terms of drinking alcohol, stress level. All of that can contribute to a person getting diabetes. So, for example, if you have a family member or you have the genetic makeup already, let's say a family member has diabetes, your chance is a little bit higher. And then now you're living a life where you're drinking a lot, you're eating whatever you want, you're drinking lots of pop and juice, you're not exercising, you're not controlling your stress. All of that can contribute to a person getting diabetes along the line.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So give me some symptoms,
Yes.
right? Like I said,
Yeah.
I could have it, but I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm just minding my own business, eating whatever I want.
Yeah.
I like my food.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
I'm a foodie too, but you just have to balance it out. Yes. Yes.
so how do you know that this thing is lurking in the background,
Yeah.
like a little thief
Yeah.
lurking in the
Yeah.
background? What are some of the common, the most basic
Symptoms.
symptoms?
Okay. So normally the hallmark signs, so which is like the signs that if somebody's going through, it could be an indication that you have diabetes or that your body's moving along that line. Is usually it could increase thirst. So you're very thirsty, not because the
Mm,
weather is hot. Like I know now the weather is hot and you're thirsty, and if you're active, you'll be thirsty. That's not normal. But when I talk about increased thirst, means that no matter how much water you drink, you don't feel like you're satisfied, right? So
mm,
increased thirst is one of them. Dry mouth, dry skin
mm.
could be sign of one of them. Going to the bathroom a lot, so you're going to pee a lot, so you're constantly in the bathroom peeing all the time. That could be
Right.
a sign of diabetes. Having, for women, vaginal infection that keeps reoccurring. That could be a
Mm-hmm.
sign of diabetes. If you, for men, erectile dysfunction. So the way you, as your manhood, how you used to, like how you are now, you feel like things are getting weaker and weaker, like your penis muscles getting weaker and weaker. That could
Diabetes does that.
It does that. It could be a sign of high sugars. So the reason why all this is happening is that now explain so it makes sense. So for example, when your body is built as a balance, everything has to balance out to prevent diseases. So whenever the balance tips off, that's when disease start to form. So like I said, when you eat and you put natural sugar in your body, um, your insulin is supposed to take some of the sugar away, so it leaves just the right amount of sugar in your bloodstream for
Right.
everything to function normally.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So when you have diabetes, what happens is that for even if it's type 2 and you're making some insulin, your body is not making enough to deal with the sugar load. So you still have quite a bit of sugar sitting in your bloodstream. And
Mm,
as we see, blood goes everywhere, right? The blood
Right.
flows everywhere. So wherever the blood goes, the sugar goes with it. So this is why diabetes can affect you from your head to your toe, right?
Mm.
These are why some of the symptoms happen the way it happens. So when the sugar level is high, your kidney is an organ in your body that its job is to filter or to clean your blood.
Right.
You can pee out the things you don't need out and then keep what's good for you to survive. So when the kidney sense that the sugar level is too high, now the kidney is going, well, this is not good for us. I need to get rid of all this extra sugar so we can function and live as a healthy human being. So then
Right.
the kidney goes into overwork and it's getting rid of the sugar, getting rid of the sugar. And in doing that, you're peeing a lot
Right.
because you can't pee out crystal sugars. It needs to be diluted in urine before you pee it out. So when you're peeing out a lot, that's your kidney saying that, okay, I need to get rid of this sugar because it's too much for us. It's going to harm all the vital organs that we need to survive. So your kidney is
Right.
working to get rid of the sugar. So that's why you're peeing a lot, right?
Mm.
Because you're peeing a lot, you're losing fluid. And because you're losing fluid, you're going to be thirsty. So you're drinking lots of fluid to replenish all the fluid that you're losing through your urine. So that's why you have the frequent urination combined with the increased thirst working together. And then you have dry skin because you're losing lots of fluid. Your body
Right.
becomes very dehydrated. Now your body is, your heart is working extra hard to, pump the blood throughout your body because as you can think of syrup, whenever sugar is high in our bloodstream, our blood becomes very thick. So it becomes like syrup. Think of
Mm.
like honey, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that sugar content is high, it moves very slowly. It's not able to get to where it needs to get, and it's doing so. So your blood flow, your circulation is not working as good. So now your heart is going. The heart is the pump in your body. It's the one that needs to pump all the fluid and all the blood throughout your whole body.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have your heart, the pump working extra hard to pump this thick blood through your body because the blood is
It's
thick
not
because of the sugar
flowing properly.
not flowing properly. So in doing that, your heart is overworking. So that could lead to the heart muscle itself enlarging. And when it does that, it can lead to heart attacks. It can lead to stroke, right? And it can lead to high blood pressure because your heart needs more pressure to push the blood, the thick blood through your body. And in doing that, with the high pressure, with the thick blood and all of that, while it's doing that, your veins or the arteries that the blood flows through, they're becoming very rigid and they're becoming very hard. And it doesn't work properly. You can develop atherosclerosis, which is a heart condition. It can lead to heart attack. Like I said, it can lead to stroke. It can lead to like bad circulation to your feet, or called peripheral edema. All of that is a sign that something is happening in your body, right? So whenever we're there, and and like I said, if some people they get these symptoms, but some people get nothing at all. So
Mm.
as we age, I encourage everyone, symptoms free doesn't mean that you're healthy. So if
Right.
you're sitting there, nothing is happening, and you feel, like it doesn't mean you're the healthiest. It's better for you to get your checkup once a year with your doctor, do blood
Mm-hmm.
work to see where you're at. Because when you know where you're at, then if it's caught early, there's something that could be done about it rather than waiting maybe 10 years from now, 15 years from now, where there's so much damage that's already done in the body that, you've started to develop the complications of diabetes, which is all the things that I've just mentioned. Yeah.
Whoa, this is not funny.
No, it's not funny.
Okay. All right. So now we know this one thing, diabetes, if you don't take care of it, is ruining almost every other organ in your body.
That's right.
From the kidney to your heart muscles to your arteries, your skin, all
Your
of those things.
nerves, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are some of the most basic things we can do on our own
Mhm.
to prevent diabetes?
Yeah.
If you have it, to try, is diabetes curable?
No, it's manageable.
It's manageable.
Yeah.
So what are some of the most basic things that we can do in our everyday lives at home? What are some of the basic things we can do before we come to medication and all that? Because I've come to believe that some of the issues that we face, maybe if we can take care of some basic things,
That's right.
this includes me, maybe if we can take care of some basic things, we'll be able to manage
That's
some
right.
of those things? What are some of the basic things we can do on a day-to-day basis as we go along?
Okay, that's a very good question. So, even if you have diabetes or you don't have diabetes, it's the same things. Like I always say, what you do to prevent diabetes is the same thing you do to manage when you have it, right? So you might as well do your best now to live
Mm-hmm.
the best life. So even if you know your family is in your family, it delays the onset. So you're not getting it at the age of 40, but maybe if you get it, you're getting it at 90 or whatever, where you've lived your full life. So
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that we can do, of course, is controlling our stress level. I can't.
Mm.
Sometimes we don't talk about that enough. I know when we talk about diabetes, we usually talk about food and drinks and all of that. But stress is something that also can cause diabetes, because when our
Mm.
body is stressed, our body's, like I said, our body is built to balance things out. So when we're stressed out, our body gives us the energy to deal with the stress. And guess what the
Mm.
energy is? The energy is sugar. So whenever we're under a lot of stress, our body releases a lot of hormones, stress hormones, and that stress hormone is to help increase our blood sugar to deal with the stress that's happening, whether it's family
Ah,
stress or stress from illness. However, whatever the stress is, our body gives us the sugar to deal with it. So,
okay.
and that's a normal process, and that's a good thing, because when we are under stress, we need the burst of energy. For example, if I'm being chased by a dog, I need the burst of energy to
To
run.
move. To
Right?
move.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then if it becomes constant, so anything that becomes chronic, where you're constantly under a lot of stress, where your body's releasing a lot of all these stress hormones into your bloodstream, it leads to weight gain, and that
Mm.
weight gain will eventually cause your blood sugar to go even higher, right? So,
Mm.
when we manage our stress, not only does it help our mental health, it also help our physical health, because now our body is not releasing a lot of hormones that can cause the blood sugar to go up, right?
Right.
So some of the things that we can do, and I'm not saying stress doesn't happen. Trust me, it does. We all
It's
have
part of life.
stress.
Yeah.
It's part of life, right? But we want to be able to manage it to a point where it's controllable. If
Mm-hmm.
stress level get to a point where you feel like it's affecting your sleep, it's affecting your relationships, it's affecting pretty much your whole life, you need to get some help. There's social workers out there, there's psychologists, psychiatrists, there's nurses that you can talk to, speak to your family doctor that can refer you to see somebody that can give you the tips that you need. So just because you're stressed doesn't mean you have to take medication, right? There are, there's behavior therapies that they can work you through. They can talk about what the stressors are, try to get, give you some tips to manage that stress, depending on what the stress is, right? So
Mm.
whenever you're under stress where it's affecting your sleep, you need to do something about it, because the lack of sleep leads cause our body to be so stressed out that there will be so much sugar in your bloodstream. No matter how
Mm.
much you're trying, it will not be able to. You'll not be able to control it. So stress
Wow.
management is very, very important. And being stressed, like I said, and sometimes especially in our culture, when somebody is stressed or they're going through some kind of mental issue, people think, oh, this person is crazy, and that's not what it is, right?
Mm.
Life happens. Just like somebody can develop cancer or can develop diabetes or can develop arthritis, a person can develop anxiety, can
Mm-hmm.
develop depression, can develop schizophrenia, can develop seasonal affective disorder. These are all mental illnesses that can happen, right?
Right.
So it's not at the fault of the person. These are chemical imbalances that happens in the body, and sometimes when that happens, you need to fix that, right? So if, let's say,
Mm.
you're anxious, and when I talk about anxiety, we all get anxious.
Yes.
That's a normal process. But when the anxiety is overtaking your life, where you can't function, that's something that needs to be dealt with. And that's a
Right.
chemical imbalance that you need to speak to, a healthcare professional that can help you with it. So depending on whatever is causing the stress, once that's dealt with, then it helps you. Then you'll be able
Mm.
to focus. Because if our mental health is not right, if I'm sitting here feeling so anxious and I feel so depressed, I don't really care about my what I'm eating. I'll just eat whatever I don't really
Right.
care. If
Mm-hmm.
I have to take medication, I don't have the motivation to take the medication.
No.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it really undermines everything.
The
So in
whole
order to
thing.
get things going, we need to deal with that stressor, deal with what's happening. And if you have to go on medication, it's not the end of the world. There are
Mm-hmm.
medications, and these are there to help you, because, like I said, it's chemical imbalance. So if there's like diabetes, it's a hormone imbalance, and that's why it
Mm.
gets diabetes. If you have some kind of like anxiety or depression, it could be serotonin or dopamine, all these chemicals that are imbalanced. That's why you have that. So then you need medication to help solve that, and plus behavior therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can't stress that enough, because if that's not the basic, mental health is not there, it's really hard for a person to be able to manage any kind of illness that they're going through, right?
So
So
you're saying that stress, and all sorts of things cause the stress, which adds to getting diabetes,
that's right.
right?
That's
In
right.
other words, whatever it is that is stressing you, be it a job, be it a relationship, be it your own mind or whatever, it's important that you get to the bottom of it.
That's right.
Deal with what is causing the stress
Yeah.
instead of keep going on and on. I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed.
Yeah.
It's important that you look at what is causing the stress
Yeah.
and deal with it.
That's right.
Because once you deal with that, that will calm your nerves down
That's right.
so that you can then look at the diabetes or whatever it is
Happening.
and manage it. So,
Exactly.
ladies and gentlemen, number one is get rid of the stress. No matter what it looks like, get rid of it. So
Yes.
that's number one. What's the next most basic thing that we can do?
So the next thing you can do is, of course, physical activity. So exercise, right? And when I talk about exercise, it doesn't mean you have to join the gym or anything like that. So any exercise that, as long as you're moving your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, the sugar is our energy. So the more we move, the more we use the energy, which is the sugar, right? So the
Right.
more exercise you do, the better your blood sugar becomes. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The sugar is sitting in your blood and you're using it. So exercise, in terms of the two type that I recommend, is aerobics exercise. So any exercise where you are where you're like walking, dancing, swimming, biking. If you live in like this part of the world, it's winter, mowing, like mowing the lawn, shoveling snow, all of that counts as exercise, because you're
Okay.
moving your muscles, your heart rate increase. That's good for you. So those kind of
Okay.
exercise, I recommend 150 minutes. So 150 minutes is the recommendation minimum. So for example,
So when you say 150 minutes a day,
no, a week.
a
See, it's
week,
not even that bad. A week. A week.
that's what I'm like. Woo! This sister's this sister's trying to
150
kill
minutes
us.
a week. So, if you exercise, let's say if you do 20-minute walk every day, that helps you meet that minimum. So
Okay.
going for a walk for 20 minutes every day helps you meet the minimum. If you do 30 minutes of walking 5 days a week, it helps you meet the minimum, right? If you
Okay.
do 45 minutes walking like 3 days a week, it helps you meet the minimum. So,
Okay.
and this is the minimum to help improve your health. Right.
Okay.
So of course, the more you do, the better your blood sugar becomes. So if you're someone that your doctor told you that said that your blood sugar is not, you don't have diabetes, but it's getting there. We call that pre-diabetes or borderline diabetes.
Right.
And you not someone that's not exercise, adding that exercise in and increasing it can help you prevent type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
Right. And if you have diabetes, exercising can also help you manage your blood sugar, because you're using the extra sugar that's sitting in your bloodstream and using it as energy. So your blood sugar level is, it's going towards balance, right? So exercise is very important. And like I said, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to join the gym, go for walks with your family, especially with COVID being inside all the time. Going for a walk with your family helps you. It helps de-stress your mind, because when you're out there and walking and doing all of that, it helps you de-stress. So
Right.
it's doing two things. It's helping you manage your blood sugar level, and it's also helping you with your mental health in terms of releasing good chemicals in your body to deal with that, like anti-stress hormones, to help you manage your stress, right?
Right.
So exercise is very important. And then the other type is called resistant exercise. And so that's the type of exercise where you're working against a resistance. So either resist from your own weight or using actual weight. Because when you do those exercise, it helps build muscle mass, and that helps improve insulin resistance. So for those of people that the insulin is not working properly, it can start to improve how the insulin works, right?
Wow.
So doing those kind of exercise also help. And you don't have to do that every day. It could be 2 to 3 times a week, right? You need to give your muscle a break. So 2 to 3 times a week. If it's bicep curls that you're doing, you're doing it properly. You're making sure that you're getting about 10 to 15 minutes of that type of exercise 3 times a week, right? And that will help with management and prevention. So if you're someone that is borderline, this can help you prevent.
Can help you move it.
And if you have it can help you manage complications of that.
So number one is minimize stress or get rid of it altogether.
If you can, yes.
Number two is exercise. The reason I'm saying the most basic is because I believe that if we can empower ourselves
Yeah.
before we get to all the rest. It's a good idea. So
Yeah.
minimize a stress or get rid of it, or, well, not or, exercise. You need to move, you need to do, weightlifting, it could be using your own body or weights.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then we have those two. What next? What next?
And just to add to the exercise piece, I know some people say, well, like based on illness or whatever happening, age, some people can't do certain exercise.
Right.
Chair exercise counts. So when you do chair exercise, you're sitting and you're exercising, it still counts. If you go on YouTube, there's all these, there's videos that you can watch where a
Mm-hmm.
person is sitting in a chair and they're teaching you how to get some exercise. So
Yes.
don't say because I can't move or I'm too old. There's always something that you can do just to help you get the little exercise you need in order to improve your health.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
So another thing we can do, of course, with diabetes is what we're eating, right? So food is very important because
Mm.
that's what we're putting in our body is the food that has natural sugar. So I mentioned three food groups. So your milk and alternatives, your grains and starches, and then your fruits. All these three groups have natural sugar in them. So,
Mm-hmm.
and this doesn't mean that we don't eat them. That's our energy food. We need them, but we don't
Mm-hmm.
need them in abundance. We need them in little by little.
Moderation.
Exactly. So with those foods, we need to be mindful of how much of it we're putting in our body when we sit down at one point to eat.
Mm.
So when we're eating, for example, when we're eating, having a meal, we want to have some carbohydrates. So we want to have some fruits. We want to have some grains and starches. We need our milk and alternative. This is our energy foods. But we also need protein, which helps with our muscle mass and other things. We need vegetables because we need the vitamins and minerals and other things to help, improve our health. And then we need, with fat, we need a little bit of fat and we need the healthy kind of fat, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when we're eating, we want everything to be balanced, right? So when
Yes.
things are balanced out, then it helps us get all the vitamins and minerals, the fibers that we need in order to, prevent complications from diabetes, and also to,
Mm-hmm.
if you're somebody that is, trying to prevent diabetes, it can help you prevent diabetes. So making
Mm.
sure that we are eating the food in portion control. So in terms of fruits, right? So fruits are good for us, but we don't want to eat a lot of fruit all at once because then it becomes too much sugar all at
Mm.
once. Because
Okay.
remember, when we eat that food, at that moment it goes in our body and our stomach digests it. The sugar from it is pulled into our bloodstream, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then the pancreas is now saying, okay, this is how much sugar I have. I need to release a lot of insulin to take that sugar to feed it into the cells so we
Mm-hmm.
can do just the right amount in the bloodstream. In doing that, if you're somebody that has diabetes where your pancreas now already it's already overworked and not producing enough insulin or not producing insulin at all, it's a very hard thing on your system. It's very hard on your body.
Mm.
It's like your body is in panic to pump out a lot of insulin to take that away. So it's better to eat in moderation. So if you're eating fruits, I say 3 fruits per day. So if you're someone that loves fruit, 3 fruits per day, 3 serving, and a serving of fruit is about the size of your fist.
Okay.
Okay, so if you take the size of your fist, that's about the serving of one fruit. So if you like apple, oranges, mango, whatever fruit you like, whether it's sweet or not, it still has natural sugar. So don't say, oh, I can't eat this because it's a little bit more sweeter, right? It's the same thing. You just have to be mindful of how much of it that you're eating. So 1 fruit per meal. So you can have it with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or you can have it as snacks in between your meals, however you choose, right?
Okay.
And in terms of grains and starches, which is in if we bring it to our Ghanaian food, like fufu, benku, apesie, and more, tiosafi, all the other starchy foods that we eat, same thing. We want to stick to about the size of your fist.
Repeat that.
So, so the starchy food that we eat, the portions of it, so it's not over. You don't overwhelm your system. You need the size of your fist. So my fist size fits my body. So maybe if I'm eating fufu, I shouldn't eat more than that.
Okay.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
eating, but I shouldn't eat more than that. Right. And then like men have bigger hands, so they can have a little bit more. They have more muscle mass than
That is
women.
so
So
not fair.
yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of things that are not fair when you compare men and women. I know. But usually the size of your fist, if you stick to that, that can help you. So if you're someone that's eating more than that, right? Let's say you have like your fufu is about the size of it, and now I'm saying to eat this. I don't expect you to go from eating this big to this what right away. Remember, this is lifestyle management. So we're
Yes.
doing things slowly so our body get used to it. So you start from maybe having like two of this or three of this, then you move it to two, and then maybe 1.5, to a point where you're at the point. So you do it slowly so your body get used to it, right? Because while you're doing that, you're increasing your vegetable consumption. Remember, if I'm used to eating a plate of rice
Right.
just by itself, and then I go from that to a quarter of a plate because that's what's the normal portion for me, and I'm not adding anything else, you're going to be hungry. That's
Right.
just normal, right?
That's just the fact of it.
Exactly. So whenever we're reducing the starches, we're increasing the vegetables. So with vegetables, 2 handfuls or more per meal you can have, because vegetable is very low in carbohydrate. It doesn't turn to sugar in our body. It has lots of fiber and minerals that help reduce cholesterol, help lower our blood pressure, and help keep our blood sugar in check. So the more vegetable you eat, the better it is. I'm not saying eat vegetables alone, because that will not sustain you, right? Because
No,
we need our energy foods. So you still need to eat your rice and plantain and yam and whatever.
I want you to repeat this part about the carbs, and because sometimes you say you're losing weight and somebody sees you eating rice and they're like, how people go.
I know how our people are. I know, and I get this a lot. People say, "Oh, I don't eat fufu because it's not good for you. It's too much starch." Remember, starch is starch. Carbohydrate is carbohydrate. For example, if I eat, I have my almonds. If I eat a cup of rice like this, or I eat or I eat fufu this size, my body sees it the same way.
Okay.
Right? So the rice and the fufu and the tiosafi and the plantain and all of that, it's starch. So our body processes it the same way. Of course, we want you to choose better grains and starches. For example, if it's rice, you want to choose brown rice because it has a little bit more fiber than white rice.
Okay.
Right? So you can you still can enjoy the rice. You can still have any food that you like. So I always say, like, people come to me and say, well, I need to change what I eat. No, we have our culture foods, and I counsel people from all over from all ethnicity. You can continue to eat your food. You just have to place the food better. So for example, as Ghanaian, if I'm eating for example, my rice, and that's what I like, I can have my portion of rice with my vegetables. I have my protein, which can come from either plant source or animal source. So if it's chicken or chickpeas or lentils or legumes, I'm getting my protein through there. And then, so when I eat that meal, I'm getting the balance.
Right.
Okay? So I'm not having a big plate of rice and no vegetables, right? So it's just how you're placing the food together that determine how your overall health is going to be. So you can eat your fufu and your banku and whatever you like. You just have to make sure that you're eating the portions that's right for your body, because you don't need that much energy.
So it's not about don't eat rice, don't eat fufu, don't eat banku. It's about the portioning of it.
Portion. Because even, for example, if something is very healthy, like, because sometimes people say, well, I eat brown rice, so I can have 2 cups. No.
It's still too much.
It's still too much. So and some people can eat for whatever reason, they don't like it or whatever it is. And remember, we're human. We're not robots. I can't program you, Anna, to go eat something else because that's what's good for you, right? We have to enjoy life. We have to live, right? We're social beings. We socialize, we eat, we do all of that. So we want to enjoy that aspect of living, because, if you take that away, then your life becomes like, people start to not hang out with their friends. All of that can also impact you negatively.
Affect your mind and all that.
Exactly. So you need to eat your food the way you want to eat it. So if it's white rice that you like, you can have 1 cup of your white rice, but then make sure that you're throwing in lots of vegetables, right?
To balance it.
Exactly. So then you're getting the fibers and the minerals and all of that from your vegetables, right? Sometimes when I cook rice, I'll put some vegetables in the rice. So when I go to cook the rice, I am getting less rice because there's vegetables.
There's vegetables in it, right?
And then you add your vegetables on top plus your protein, and so it balances things out. But if you are someone that can handle eating, let's say, brown rice, then have brown rice. But that doesn't mean you can have 2 cups. It's the same amount.
It's the same amount.
The same amount.
So at the end of the day, we're talking about the basic things we can do before we get to medication and all of that. So you've mentioned stress and how that affects us. And so we need to, that's one way of managing the diabetes or preventing it at all, right? So we talked about stress. And then we talked about exercise, right? You could run, you could swim, you could dance, you could, jump rope, you could mow the lawn, you could do whatever you do. And you're saying that at least 150 minutes per week. Or 3 times per week. If you can do that. And I think you should do that, because the benefits of sleeping, because I'm a Zumba instructor, I sleep a lot. And it feels very nice.
And it's good for your health. It
is so good for your health. So we talked about exercise, and then we talked about diet. Right? A lot of times we're confused. We talk about no carbs and this. I tried the keto diet some time ago, and Jesus, I was like, all right, before I lose the weight, I'll be dead. It worked, but it was a no carbs type deal. But what you're saying is that you don't have to cut out the carbs, because you need the energy that the carbs bring, but you have to balance it out with your vegetables and your protein and all that. Right? So what else can you think about that we can do on a basic level in managing diabetes? What are some of the basic things we can do as we're going about every day?
So, and everyday living. So like I said, this is a lifestyle management. So this is not a quick fix, because sometimes, when a person is diagnosed, if we tell them that, oh, now your sugar is getting a little high, you're in pre-diabetes zone, be careful, or, you have diabetes. People normally, based on anxiety and fear and all that they're hearing, they might cut certain behavior, and then they'll do things really, really well. They'll exercise well, they eat, but then eventually, as life happens, things slowly comes back, right? Certain behavior comes back. This is why I say diabetes is not curable, it's manageable. Because for example, when you're controlled, so let's say it was the stress that brought your sugar high, and now you have to manage it. You're controlling your stress now. You have a counselor, you're doing well, you're eating healthy, you're exercising, and then eventually, things happen, life happens, things start to sneak in. So when you're not mindful of those kind of things, you can slowly go back to your previous. We're habitual human beings. Like, we do things as habits.
Right.
So you want to be able to do these things it's lifestyle management. So you do it slowly so you can adapt it. Right. So like I said, with the healthy eating, pick one thing that you can do. So for example, if it's breakfast, say, and another thing, actually, that reminds me, if you're someone that don't eat regularly, that's also not good for you. Because sometimes I eat only once a day, Julia, why am I gaining weight? That's why you're gaining weight. Because when you don't eat regularly, your blood sugar is not regulated. It's like you turn your body into a fat storing mode. So everything that you put in your body stores it as fat, because it's like it doesn't know when you're going to feed it next.
When you're going to eat next.
Exactly. So, but if you're eating regularly, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and your blood sugar is being regulated regularly, your metabolism increase, and then you're able to burn fat. So you're able to eat, right? So eating regularly is very important. So that's one thing. So if you're someone that don't eat regularly, starting to eat regularly is something that you can do for yourself, that you can imagine the benefit that will you have later on.
Yes.
Because for diabetes management, you cannot manage your diabetes if you're eating once a day.
No.
You need to eat regularly. So just getting into that mode is a big thing. So our eating habits is very, very important. Also, what we're drinking, because remember, I always tell people, eat your calories and drink calorie free. Because when I sit down to eat and I have, let's say, my plate and I eat, and then I have my, let's say I have a cup of juice and I drink that juice has so much sugar in it that remember, the food that I'm eating already has natural
sugar in it.
And now I'm topping it on top with the sugar from the drink. So now your blood sugar spikes so hard, where your body is in panic, where your pancreas is going crazy, trying to throw out so much insulin to deal with the sugar load. So being mindful of what we drink is very important. So if you're drinking that drink, juice and pop, please, you can do yourself and prevent so many other complications in your life by just cutting that out. I'm not saying
Mhm.
you never drink juice. You know, like I said, we socialize. You go to a barbecue once in a while, have something to drink. That's okay.
Manage
But
it.
but 80% of the time, what you should be drinking is water. The
Simple.
best fluid for your body is water, because 70% of our body is made of water, and we need it to function, to clear out toxins and detoxify and all of that. So you need water. So
Mm.
juice is something that you need. That's one thing that I tell people to stay away from, is juice and pop, because it doesn't do anything. And I know there's all these, gimmicks about heart healthy drinks, and this orange juice is heart health. No, eat the orange instead of the orange juice. Eat the apple.
Okay. Okay.
So have the fruit itself, because when you're
This-
eating food as close to its natural form, you're getting all the benefit of the fruit, which is the fiber and all the other things that helps manage cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar. If you separate it and you have the juice, the fiber and all of that's out of it, so you're only getting the pure sugar.
Mm.
So
Mm.
if I drink a cup of this juice, within 15 minutes, my blood sugar level can raise about 3 points. Right? But if I eat an orange, and if I'm eating an orange, I probably most likely won't eat 4 oranges. I probably eat 1 orange.
Right.
But if you're drinking orange juice, in order to get the juice, you're probably squeezing about 4 or 5 oranges to get the juice. You're
Right.
having way too much sugar all at once. So we're
Hmm.
talking about the basic things we can do to manage our health, watching what we drink. So let your main fluid be water. Cut out the juice, cut out the pop. It's not good for you. Once in a while, if you want to have a pop, or if you, let's say you're diabetic and once in a while you crave, you can have the diet juice or the diet pop once in a while. That's fine. But if the minute you have the natural juice from fruit, your sugar level is going to spike up. So working on
Well,
those little tips, it helps quite a bit. Eat regularly, drink lots of water. Let your main fluid be water, right? And so when you
mhm.
go to eat, you're getting the calories from the food and not plus the drink, because it becomes too much, right, for your body.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Wow, wow. I've gotten a lot from, this conversation, and I pray that others who watch it will also get something from it. But I think we've only scratched, because as you're speaking, so many things are
There's so
popping
many. Yes,
in
yes,
my mind and all of that. And since I know where to find you, we'll be
mhm.
looking for you to come and chat with us.
Of course,
You know,
anytime,
I
anytime.
am so grateful to you, for you, and for your knowledge and the way you break it down for us, because I don't want things to be complicated
No,
when people come to the Anna Edu show. We like to equip people with the basics we can do in
yes,
whatever situation we find ourselves. So
exactly.
I'm grateful. I'm very, very grateful for the way you've broken it down.
Thank you.
Stress, cut it out. Exercise, try and get at least 150 minutes a week.
Yeah,
What you're eating, what is going into your mouth,
yeah,
you need to watch it. Cut out the juices and the pops. Make it an occasional thing. Drink more water.
yeah,
Eat more fruit than fruit juices,
yes.
oranges, bananas, whatever it is. Keep it real, keep it simple,
That's right.
and keep it locked on living a balanced life. As Miss
Right.
Juliette, I got that. Did you see how I worked that in?
That
I'm
was
all
awesome.
that. I'm all that, Miss Juliette. I think you know that by now.
Yes, I know. That was very good.
So keep it locked on Miss Juliette and living a balanced life,
Yeah.
and we'll bring her back again. And until then, enjoy your weekend. Eat
Thank
all
you.
the fruits and vegetables that you can.
Yeah.
Go out there and walk. Hug somebody or call somebody. Kiss
Yes.
somebody. Tell somebody how much you love them.
Be
Because
kind in all
be
you do.
kind,
Kind.
be
So much out
supportive.
there, so don't be the stressor for someone. Be
Don't
kind.
be,
Yeah.
be kind.
Be kind.
And so, Miss Julia, we thank you so much for coming.
No
We
problem.
appreciate you. You keep up the good work.
Thank
And
you.
we at the Anna Edu show will keep keeping it real, keep having fun, keep keeping it simple, so that all of us, wherever we are, will live a healthy and balanced life.
That's
Stay
right.
blessed. Hey, did you enjoy my poem?
Of course, it was very good. Oh,
Are you
when you were reading it, I didn't. You didn't see my video. I was Nodding my head. So you didn't make
Oh, see,
very
I
good.
got
Oh,
you,
yeah.
Miss
Oh, yeah.
Juliette. I got you.
It's
I
very good.
got you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Inspiration keeps me going. So I admire you, and I'm so glad that you invited me to come to this show. I admire you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
inviting me.
Anytime. You keep on being a fashionista, keep bringing it, keep living life on your terms.
That's right.
Stay blessed,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Have a good weekend and happy Labor Day to us
Yes.
all.
Take care, everyone.
Bye. Be
Bye.
encouraged, be inspired. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Diabetic TV.